Imagine reaching retirement with a paid-off house or a $1 million investment portfolio. Which future would actually make you wealthier?
Most people think buying a home is always the smartest financial decision. But what if that belief costs you hundreds of thousands?
Meet Ethan. Like millions of people, he believes owning a home is the fastest path to financial freedom.
Meanwhile, Mia chooses a different path. She rents comfortably and invests every extra dollar she can.
Neither Ethan nor Mia knows it yet, but the next 30 years will reveal which strategy quietly builds the greatest wealth.
To answer that question, we have to compare every dollar both of them spend over the exact same 30 years.
Ethan buys a $400,000 home with a 20% down payment and a 30-year mortgage. Mia rents a similar home nearby and invests the money she didn't use for a down payment. At first glance, Ethan seems richer because he owns property. But appearances can be surprisingly misleading.
The secret isn't what you buy. It's where every dollar keeps working after you spend it.
For Ethan, this is a dream come true. Owning a home feels like finally reaching financial success.
Mia doesn't own the walls around her, but every month she quietly buys pieces of growing businesses instead.
The surprising truth is that buying a home costs far more than the monthly mortgage payment most people expect.
Property taxes, insurance, maintenance, repairs, and interest quietly consume far more cash than many buyers realize. Then life happens. A leaking roof, broken appliances, and repairs begin arriving one after another. While Ethan pays unexpected repair bills, Mia simply keeps investing automatically every single month without changing her routine.
Right now, their lives don't seem very different, but time is about to become the most powerful force in this entire story.
Over the next 30 years, every financial decision they make will quietly compound, and the final result may completely surprise you. Let's rewind to day one and discover where every single dollar actually goes before either investment has time to grow. Every month, Ethan's paycheck begins flowing toward far more than just the mortgage payment. Some of those payments build ownership. Others disappear forever as the cost of simply keeping the house. Mia pays her rent, then immediately sends the remaining money toward investments that begin working for her.
Money isn't just something you spend. Every dollar becomes a tiny employee that can either stop working or keep earning.
Here's the key difference. Not every dollar spent on a home actually becomes wealth that you keep.
Owning a house also means becoming responsible for every repair, every upgrade, and every surprise along the way. As a renter, Mia still has responsibilities, but major repairs remain someone else's financial burden. This isn't about proving one choice is always better. It's about understanding the hidden cost behind every financial decision.
The real winner won't be decided today. It'll be decided by what those dollars are still doing decades from now.
Most homeowners rarely notice how many different expenses quietly compete for every paycheck throughout the year.
Meanwhile, Mia keeps following the same simple routine, allowing consistency to do most of the hard work.
The biggest advantage in building wealth isn't making perfect decisions. It's giving good decisions enough time to compound.
Whether you buy a home or invest in markets, patience is the ingredient that gives small choices extraordinary power.
So far, both of them feel successful. But the numbers quietly tell a much deeper story beneath the surface.
Now let's fast forward 5 years and compare what their financial lives actually look like, not just how they feel.
5 years may not sound like much, but it's long enough for financial habits to begin revealing their true direction.
Both have built something valuable, but in the next chapter, we'll finally compare the numbers and discover which strategy creates more long-term wealth. 5 years have passed. Now the numbers begin telling a story emotions alone could never reveal. Ethan has faithfully made every payment, and little by little, more of his home now truly belongs to him. At the very same time, Mia's investments have quietly benefited from years of consistent contributions and market growth. Both strategies are creating wealth, but they're creating it in completely different ways.
This is where compounding begins to separate steady growth from growth that starts accelerating on its own.
Home equity usually grows one payment at a time. Investments have the potential to grow from both new money and previous gains. Every payment increases Ethan's ownership a little more, giving him a growing share of the home's value. Mia's earliest investments are now generating growth of their own, even before her newest contributions arrive.
This is why investors love compounding. Eventually, your money begins helping your new money grow even faster.
Time rewards both strategies, but it doesn't always reward them at the same speed once compounding takes over. Meanwhile, Mia's earliest investments are now producing returns that create even more future returns without requiring extra effort.
Think of compounding like a snowball. It starts slowly, but eventually its own size makes it grow faster.
That's why patience matters so much. The biggest gains often arrive after years of steady, disciplined progress.
At this point, both are enjoying life. Neither feels behind, but their financial engines are beginning to produce very different results.
This is the moment many people overlook. Compounding doesn't usually feel dramatic, until suddenly it does.
Time treats everyone equally. The difference comes from what your money is doing while those years quietly pass.
And we've only reached year 5. The next 25 years are where small differences become life-changing results. Now let's jump ahead another 5 years, because this is where the gap starts becoming impossible to ignore.
Another 5 years quietly pass, and both financial journeys continue moving forward every single month. After 10 years, Ethan's house has likely increased in value, adding another layer to his growing net worth. Mia's portfolio has also grown, powered by years of disciplined investing and the momentum of compounding.
Here's something important. Houses and investments can both grow, but they don't always grow for the same reasons.
A home's value may rise because the neighborhood changes. Investments grow as businesses earn, innovate, and expand over time.
If property values rise, Ethan benefits. Appreciation becomes another contributor to his overall wealth. At the same time, Mia owns tiny pieces of thousands of businesses that continue working around the world every day. There's one more force affecting both strategies, whether we notice it or not. It's called inflation.
Inflation quietly reduces what cash can buy over time, making long-term growth increasingly important for protecting purchasing power.
Inflation affects homeowners too. Over time, repairs, maintenance, insurance, and renovations usually become more expensive.
Mia also feels inflation, but she hopes her investments will continue growing faster than rising prices over the long run.
That's why growing your money isn't only about becoming richer. It's also about protecting what your future income can actually buy.
Every financial journey has challenges. The important question is whether your assets keep moving forward with you. 10 years later, both have built rewarding lives. But one important financial concept still hasn't entered the picture.
That concept is opportunity cost, and it's one of the biggest reasons two smart people can end up with very different outcomes.
Every dollar can only be used once. Choosing one opportunity usually means giving up another that same dollar could have pursued.
In the next chapter, we'll watch another decade unfold and see how time magnifies every financial decision we've made so far. 20 years changes everything. Small monthly decisions have now had enough time to reshape both financial futures.
Another decade quietly passes, proving once again that consistency often matters more than excitement.
After 20 years, Ethan has built significant equity and enjoys the stability that homeownership can provide.
Mia's investment portfolio has also matured, supported by decades of disciplined saving and long-term growth. By year 20, both strategies have created meaningful wealth. The difference now comes down to flexibility and opportunity.
One difference becomes more noticeable over time. Some assets are easier to access or redirect when life suddenly changes.
Imagine Ethan receives a fantastic job offer across the country. Owning a home adds extra decisions before making a move. Mia receives a similar opportunity. Because she rents, relocating may involve fewer housing-related decisions, though every situation is unique. Flexibility has value too. The best financial choice often depends on your goals, career, family, and stage of life.
Different assets respond differently when conditions change. Stability and flexibility can both be valuable, depending on what life asks of you.
After 2 decades, Ethan's home has become an important part of his overall wealth, providing both stability and accumulated equity.
Mia's portfolio has also reached impressive size, giving her a diversified collection of assets built over many consistent years. Notice something important. Neither path is automatically right or wrong. Each simply solves different financial priorities.
Financial success isn't about choosing the perfect road. It's about staying committed to the one that truly fits your circumstances.
2 decades later, both have built meaningful lives. Their success isn't defined only by numbers, but by the freedom their decisions created. The smartest financial decision isn't the same for everyone. It depends on where you want your life to go.
Whatever path you choose, consistency matters far more than trying to perfectly predict the future.
The final decade changes everything. Now we'll see what 30 years of disciplined choices ultimately create. 30 years have finally passed. Now we can see where every small decision ultimately led. The final decade passes surprisingly quickly, proving that long-term wealth is built through patience more than perfect timing. After 30 years, Ethan owns his home outright. The mortgage is finally gone. Mia's investments have also spent 3 decades compounding, creating an asset that has grown far beyond her original contributions. This isn't a story about one winner and one loser. It's about understanding what each path can realistically deliver. Without a mortgage payment, Ethan now has significantly more monthly cash flow available for saving, investing, traveling, or simply enjoying life. Mia's portfolio may also support her lifestyle, depending on how it's invested and the choices she makes in retirement.
Financial independence can come from different combinations of assets. The important part is building enough resources to support your future.
The goal isn't simply accumulating wealth. It's creating assets that continue supporting your life long after your working years. After 30 years, both Ethan and Mia have built something valuable. The real lesson comes from understanding how they arrived there. Owning his home outright gives Ethan new flexibility. Money that once went toward the mortgage can now support whatever matters most to him. Mia enjoys a different kind of flexibility. Her investments continue growing while giving her choices about how and when to use them. The biggest lesson isn't about choosing sides. It's about giving your money enough time to grow, whichever strategy you follow. Every great financial outcome begins with small, consistent decisions repeated over many years.
In the end, real wealth isn't only measured by assets. It's measured by the freedom, security, and opportunities those assets create.
Whether you build wealth through a home, investments, or both, consistency will almost always matter more than chasing perfect timing. The destination isn't about owning more things. It's about creating a life where money gives you more choices instead of more stress. Now that we've reached the finish line, let's bring everything together and answer the question we started with. We've reached the end of our 30-year journey. Now it's time to answer the question that started everything. The answer is surprisingly simple. Both strategies can succeed, but only when they match the person using them. For someone who values stability, permanence, and putting down roots, homeownership can be an incredible long-term decision. For someone who values flexibility, mobility, and investing consistently, renting while investing can also build remarkable wealth. The mistake isn't choosing one path over the other. The mistake is following someone else's plan without understanding your own goals.
One common myth says renting is always throwing money away. In reality, every housing choice comes with costs and benefits.
Rent payments buy flexibility and a place to live. Mortgage payments buy ownership, but they also include costs beyond building equity.
Neither choice automatically creates wealth. What matters is what happens with the money left over after your housing costs are paid. The real advantage comes from making intentional decisions instead of simply following what everyone else expects you to do.
Your financial roadmap should reflect your own priorities, not someone else's definition of success.
For many people, the strongest financial plan isn't choosing one side. It's combining the strengths of both whenever possible.
Your income, family plans, career, location, and risk tolerance all influence which strategy makes the most sense.
Neither Ethan nor Mia needed the other person's plan. They simply needed a plan they could follow consistently.
Every great financial future begins with a single decision, repeated month after month, year after year.
Time will pass whether you invest intentionally or not. The only question is what you'll have built when those years are gone. Money is important, but time is the resource you can never earn back. That's why starting early changes everything.
No matter where you're starting today, the next decision you make can shape the next 30 years of your life.
In our final chapter, we'll bring everything together into one simple lesson you'll remember every time you make a financial decision. After everything we've seen, one lesson stands above every chart, every calculation, and every financial strategy.
Real wealth isn't built overnight. It's built through ordinary choices repeated consistently over extraordinary lengths of time.
Neither person won. Both succeeded because they stayed committed to a strategy they understood and believed in. Your greatest investment isn't a house or a stock. It's the habit of making thoughtful decisions year after year.
Every financial journey starts exactly the same way, with one decision made today instead of someday.
You don't need perfect timing. You don't need perfect knowledge. You simply need to begin and keep going.
The future isn't built by one giant decision. It's built by thousands of small decisions working together over time.
Your biggest financial advantage isn't earning more tomorrow. It's making smarter decisions starting today.
Different journeys, different strategies, one shared reward, the freedom created by long-term thinking and consistent action.
If this journey changed how you think about money, you're already one step closer to changing your future. Remember, the most powerful investment isn't the one you choose. It's the habit of staying consistent for decades.
Every future begins with one small action. The sooner you plant it, the longer it has to grow.
Whether you rent or buy, what matters most is having a plan that you understand and can stick with.
Financial freedom rarely arrives all at once. Most often, it grows quietly while you're busy living your life.
No matter where you're starting today, your future self will thank you for every smart decision you begin making now. Your future isn't decided by one perfect decision. It's shaped by hundreds of good decisions made consistently over time.
Whatever path you choose, make it intentional, stay patient, and allow time to become your greatest financial partner.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey, I'd love to hear which path you'd choose, and I'll see you in the next story.